Thank you. Thank you for being here. And I'd wanted to go back to the outsourcing conversation. Right now, it's predicted that the government's going to spend $21.6 billion in highly paid consultants and outsourcing for services for Canadians. Now, my understanding is that this is going, that they intend to cut 15% of what they've allocated for outsourcing, but that still doesn't even bring us back to 21-22 levels. Would that be accurate?
If they do reduce these outsourcing contracts by 15%, it would certainly contribute to bringing these funding back to the authorities or the actual spending in 21-22. But what we have seen so far is a reduction of $500 million split between travel expenditures and consulting fees. So, and that is not sufficient to bring down the level to actual expenditures in 21-22.
So I guess what I find really alarming is you just did a report in terms of looking at the CEBA loan and the cost of the CEBA loan. You know, right now we've got 250,000 small businesses that have taken a CEBA loan out, businesses that close their doors to protect the health of Canadians, public health, and they took a huge hit. Clearly, the refundable portion would not be able to absorb the hit they took, especially when it comes to the hospitality industry, where very few businesses have been able to make any sort of payment, if any, a small portion of that. And through CFIB, looking at their stats, they're saying a third of those people literally just don't have the money and can't secure a loan. Would you not agree that if the government, cut more on outsourcing, that they could afford the money that you've projected, $904 million, which I think is quite large in your prediction, given the fact that it doesn't account for businesses paying down their loans over that period. Maybe you can speak a bit more about your report. But for me, I find it very difficult that these businesses are going to take another hit, take it on the chin, and we're paying this exorbitant amount of money in highly paid consultants that are making profit. And of course, we're also learning that a lot of them are just making commissions while they're subcontracting out, and in their pyramid scheme that they've designed that's going on in a lot of these corporations.
Well, it's certainly a decision that the government could decide to make to, on the one hand, extend the deadline for CEBA repayments and finance that through a reduction in outsourcing and professional services. However, reductions in outsourcing services could potentially have impacts on the delivery of some services, depending on the areas that would be cut. So it's a decision that would be best left. Well, I cannot really say whether it's feasible without affecting services. It would depend where the cuts or the reductions would take place. But it certainly is an avenue for the government if it was to decide to extend the deadline for CEBA repayments.
I imagine even if they change their commission set up and put a cap on all commissions on outsourcing, they'd be able to cover the extension of the CEBA loan. Something that I'm really disappointed that the Liberals aren't supporting and the Conservatives have not been active on. Now, in terms of the Indigenous service,